Hello and welcome. My name's Dave. I'm the sales manager at Stable Vehicle Contracts, and today I'm going to be bringing you our top leasing offers for December. Now, before I do that, a couple of bits of housekeeping to get into. Mainly, it is these offers are correct at the time this video is going live. Obviously, if you're watching this video in 25 years in the future, these prices probably aren't correct. So go to our website. The links to all the offers we're talking about today are in the description. So check those out and you'll see the latest up-to-date prices in there. And also, many of our viewers who watch our videos aren't actually subscribed. So we need to change that. If you're not subscribed, click the symbol, click the notification bell, all that sort of jazz, so you don't miss any of these videos or our other car reviews and the other videos we create on this channel here. So that being said, let's get into the first offer. And the first one I've got for you today is on the Volkswagen T-Cross estate. They call it an estate. It's not, it's an SUV. It's the 1 litre, 110 PS active 5-door manual. So I'll just click through, show you a couple of the images of the vehicle first, and then we'll look at the specification. So size-wise, these images are a little bit deceptive. It's not as big as it looks, I don't think. Probably the easiest way to describe it is a Polo that's been raised up slightly. It's that sort of size. So if you need a large SUV, this probably isn't the car for you. But if it's just a small city car style vehicle you're after, but you like that feeling of being sat a little bit higher up, which many people do, this one definitely could be the right car for you. So yeah, size-wise, that's what you need to bear in mind. Let's take a look at some of the standard spec you get on this model, which is the Active. So first of all, let's look at the SE spec, because you get all the SE spec and more. So what do you get with the SE? Well, you get these 17-inch alloy wheels, the blind spot detection, fog lights, aircon, alarm, electric folding mirrors, App Connect. Not a great deal, if I'm honest with you, on the SE, but we're going for the Active, so you get all that, main one being the alloys, but you also get this satellite navigation, parking sensors front and rear, privacy glass, the unique Active logo on the B pillar, that's a good one, but you also get the winter pack, which gives you the heated seats and heated washer jets. I can tell you this time of year are very, very much welcome. So that's the spec. Let's just take a look at the colours you get on this with this vehicle as well. So the standard colour is this Ascot Grey, which is like an off-white, but then you've got a range of different colours here. So you've got your pure white, which is £370 cost option, very popular, and then you've got this range of metallic colours from £610 all the way up to £775. If you want to stand out and go for the turquoise, it's going to cost you a little bit of money. So getting into the deal, we've actually got these cars coming through for January delivery. Now, if you've been following anything to do with the motor trade recently, you'll know that is super, super quick. We're still haunted by these semiconductor issues, which have been blighting the motor trade since June of this year, 2021, and they're probably going to keep giving us headaches till probably this time next year. Hopefully a bit quicker, but I'm thinking it could be this time next year before we're out of the woods completely. So these cars have already been built and they're in transit from the factory to our fleet centres, and they'll be ready for delivery for January onwards. So all the prices I'm going to show you today are all going to be based on the same parameters, just to keep it on a level playing field. So it'll be 3 years, 6 payments in advance, and 10,000 miles per annum. When you go to our website, which I said before, the links are in the description below, you can change the term, the mileage, the initial rental, all those sort of things. You can add options onto the vehicle as well, and it will give you a sort of real-time price on the website there. So it gives you a fully tailored quotation live on our website. So it's definitely worth having a look at that and playing around with it, and seeing the what is the quote that suits your requirements. So this one, on those terms, is coming out at £259 a month, including VAT. That's with an initial payment of £1,554.18. Again, Inc VAT. All of our offers have all got this £300 Inc VAT processing fee. Obviously, it's something we need to tell you about straight away. So that's on all of these offers. Okay, so next up, a little bit different to what we usually talk about, but I think this is actually really good value at the moment, especially if you do need a large sort of four-door saloon. This one definitely ticks the boxes, and we'll look at the spec in a minute, but you do get an awful lot of spec with this car. So as I alluded to, it's the Lexus ES 300h 2.5 four-door CVT Premium Edition. Okay. So again, we'll quickly flick through a couple of the images of the vehicle just so you can get a feel as to what the vehicle looks like. So you can see it's quite a large four-door saloon. So think Audi A6, Mercedes-Benz E-Class, BMW 5 Series, that sort of size vehicle. So yeah, quite a large car. So let's just jump into some of the standard spec. So this is the ES. By the way, this Lexus website is awful. It's horrible. So bear with me. Spec wise, as I said, it's the ES Premium Edition. So you've got these 18-inch alloys, the Lexus Safety System Plus, the premium navigation, a 12.3-inch touchscreen media display, wireless smartphone charger, which is great, really handy. 3-spoke leather steering wheel, stainless steel scuff plates, privacy glass, and rain sensing wipers. But you also get all this spec here on just the standard ES model. So you've got the 8-way electric adjustable front seats, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, which is great, reversing camera, sunroof, and then you got again the blind spot monitor and traffic alerts system. So yeah, quite a lot of spec, all the standard. I think that sunroof and the rear camera are really good features. And if we jump into the build of the car, again you can see the vehicle in a bit more detail. As I said, this Lexus website is pretty awful, to be honest with you. So we'll move on to the price because Lexus can't build a website. Hopefully the cars are better than the website. I don't know what's happened there. So moving on to the price. So this is coming out at £367.53, including the VAT, with an initial payment of £2,205.18 in the VAT. So if we give that a comparison, as I said, to the Audi A6, and let's just see what that's coming out at as an alternative. So I'll go for the Sport model, but the spec on this Sport model is nowhere near the same as this Lexus. So 480 Inc VAT for the 40 TSI Sport four-door automatic tech pack, as opposed to the Lexus, which is 367. So as you can see, quite a saving there. And as I said, that Sport model, the spec, is nowhere near as high as it is on the Lexus. So I think that just demonstrates what good value this Lexus is at the moment. So if you're looking for a large four-door saloon, maybe look at this. Okie dokie, so offer number 3 is the Audi Q5. Again, called an estate, definitely not an estate. It's the SUV, but they have a sportback model, so I think they're just trying to separate the two. This is the non-sportback one, the estate, which isn't an estate. 50 TSI E Quattro Sport 5-door S-Tronic. So if we flick through some of the images of the vehicle, just so you can get a feel for the car. I think most people probably know what the Audi Q5 is now, but if you're unfamiliar, it's a large SUV. Probably won't go quite as far to say it's a 4x4. I would definitely class it as an SUV. That rear boot isn't huge on, you know, for the size vehicle it is. Length is okay, the depth isn't fantastic on it. So more of an SUV for me. So if we jump into the standard spec on the Sport model, so you've got these 18-inch alloys, which are twin spokes, LED headlights, the MMI navigation, and the Audi Virtual Cockpit Plus, with 12.3-inch screen and the Presense. Okay, so if we go through and look at the colours, much better than the Lexus website. So exterior wise, two choices of paint, no cost options. So you've got the brilliant black there. Nightmare, stay away from that one at all costs. You're just going to be constantly looking at it and it shows all the little scratches and scuffs. You'll be able to see it a mile away. If you don't want to spend money on metallic paint, which is totally understandable, go for Ibis White. It just hides all those little imperfections a lot more than brilliant black does. So that's my little tip there. And then you've got, as always, a choice of metallic colours to choose from. Navara Blue is always a popular colour for the Q5. Always has been, always will be. And then Manhattan Grey is one that I like. If you don't want black or white or silver, something a little bit different, that Manhattan Grey looks, I think, something a little bit special. So if we go into prices, so this is coming out at £559 a month, including VAT, with an initial payment of £3,356 and 22 pence, again including VAT. As I mentioned at the start of the video, you know, with our website, you can go in, you can alter the profile, so the term, the initial payment and the annual mileage, and it will spew out a price which is tailored specifically to you. You can then also go through, look at the options, and you know, if you wanted that metallic, so you didn't want the black or white, and you wanted the blue, the Navara Blue, you can add that in there, and the price will change and it'll give you a real-time figure online. Okay, next up, I like this car. Doesn't get as much love as I think it should do. And I think that's a lot for a lot of vehicles in the Fiat range. Great cars, but there's a lot of you people out there that you car snobs, I'm afraid, badge snobs, and you turn your nose up at it because it's a Fiat. But I think if you can look beyond that, and you want, you know, VW, Audi, but you want to get real good value for money, then the Fiat range is something you should be looking at really seriously, because obviously they're built on all the same platforms as the VW range, so pretty much the same car. But with Fiat, you tend to get a bit more spec for your money, so they will add on options which are normally a cost option for the equivalent Volkswagen, for example. Fiat will include them as standard, so you're getting so much more value for your money with a Fiat, I think. So this one's the Ateca 1.5 TSI Evo SE technology 5-door. This is the manual. So again, if we just flick through the images, size wise, equivalent size is the Volkswagen Tiguan to this. So that's, I mean, Tiguan's a really popular car and has been, you know, for a long time. But like I say, if you wanted something a little bit different, then definitely the Ateca's one to consider. So let's look at that spec. So all this here is standard on the SE technology model. So I'll just pick out a few of the key features I think you're probably, you know, interested in. LED headlamps, sound small, but you know, in the winter months like we're in now, they're, you know, they really are saviour, especially if you're doing any country lane driving. Big difference between the bi-xenons and LED headlamps, miles better. So you got the wireless full link smartphone integration, which basically means if you've got an Android or an Apple phone, you can connect it to the car, and the apps or certain apps you've got on your vehicle will be displayed on the vehicle's infotainment system. So you can use the navigation, you can use Spotify, you can use WhatsApp, all through the vehicle itself, which is great. This vehicle does come with navigation as standard. We've also got keyless entry and go, the wireless phone charger, park assist. You'll use that once and then never use it again, don't worry about it. So yeah, so quite a lot of spec, all are standard on this vehicle. So really good value for money. So looking at the price, it's currently coming out at £319.98 including VAT, and that's with an initial payment of £1,919.88 in VAT. And again, our processing fee, £300 is in there. Just to point out as well, you'll notice the little button here, inquire via WhatsApp. So if you don't want to get caught up in the drudgery of emails, click that, and then you can have a conversation with our advisors all through WhatsApp. So you don't need to get on the phone, you don't need to be, like I say, getting another email coming into your inbox, along with the hundreds of other ones you have on a daily basis. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely use that. Right, next up, I'm not sure how I feel about this one, but we'll go with it. It's the Fiat 500 electric hatchback. It's the 70 kilowatt red, 24 kilowatt hour battery. It's quite a small battery. I'll talk about the range in a second. 3-door and obviously automatic. We've got these vehicles coming through for delivery sort of middle part of December, early to mid-January is the estimated delivery time at the moment on this vehicle, so coming through fairly quickly. Yeah, the Fiat 500 is a weird one. It's so popular with certain demographics. It's not one for me, but it's definitely is popular amongst certain people. Probably if you're younger driver, looking for a bit of cheap motoring. And this one, obviously, because it is electric, what you need to remember is there's no running or no petrol or diesel costs with this, so you can charge it, at home for a lot cheaper than if you went to the forecourts and putting petrol or diesel into a car. So it may be a bit more expensive than another small hatchback you might be considering, but just need to take into account the fuel savings that you're going to have with an electric vehicle. So if we look at the specification on this vehicle, I was having a bit of a go at Lexus's website earlier today, but it's brilliant compared to Fiat's. It's one of the worst websites I've ever been on. I can't scroll down, it's something gets stuck. It doesn't really give you the actual spec on the vehicle. So let's have a quick look at what cap data is telling us that you get standard on this. So we'll forget the website. So you've got a 10.25 inch touchscreen with navigation. Now interestingly, I think with this, there is no built-in radio into this car. So it's all done, all the infotainment side of it is all done via your smartphone. So you hook your phone up to the car, and then it uses that to access, if you want to listen to the radio, radio, and obviously uses your phone's navigation and Spotify and things like that. A bit like we spoke about with Fiat a minute ago. But yeah, I think I don't know if it's going to be the future, it's what more manufacturers going to be doing, but yeah, there's no built-in sort of radio as such in this car. So you've got cruise control, front parking sensors, lane assist, rear parking sensors, the wireless Apple Android, as I mentioned, it's 50 kilowatt hour fast charging, DAB radio. So moving on to the range, obviously something quite important with electric vehicles is you're going to know what sort of range this vehicle is going to do. So Fiat are saying a combined range of 118 miles on this vehicle, which I think is probably going to be sort of fairly accurate, because they're saying the sort of the city range is 159. It's going to be nowhere. You'll never get that. So I think you're probably realistically somewhere between 90 an 110 mile range on this car, depending on how you drive it and weather conditions and things like that. So not the biggest of range, but if you are just using this car around town, city driving, which let's face it, that's what it's designed for, then that should be sort of more than adequate for your needs. But if you want something that's going to do long distances on a single charge, it's probably not the car for you. So go looking at the price. This is coming out at the moment at £233, sorry, 89 pence, with an initial payment of £1,403.34, with a post-processing fee of £300. And as I said, big one on this car. Delivery, we're looking at December/January for delivery on this car as well. So coming through very, very quickly compared to a lot of other cars at the minute. Okay, we're on to our last offer. As I said right at the start of the video, this one is a really special one. So if you stayed to the end and watched all the other offers to get to this one, well done. And if you've actually just gone on and looked at the timestamp and skipped on, fair play. But this is definitely worth waiting for. It is the Skoda Kamiq, something like that. 1 litre TSI 110 SE 5-door DSG. DSG is the automatic one, so that makes it even better value in my opinion. Size wise, it's equivalent to the Volkswagen T-Cross. So it's a smallish SUV, not the smallest, but definitely not the biggest. So if you need something quite large, a big boot, you're probably going to have a little bit, sort of a more in-depth look at this vehicle before you jump in and order one. They're not the biggest, but like I say, it is excellent value for money at the moment. So let's take a look at some of the standard spec on this car, and then we'll take a more in-depth look at the price. So it's the SE model, so you get everything over the S. So let's start at the S, shall we? Which is the standard entry level. So you get a steel space-saving spare wheel, tow bar wrap, rear parking sensors, a variable boot lid, and 16-inch alloys. So not a great deal, but we're going to go for the SE model. So we're going to get all that plus 17-inch Braga alloy wheels, body coloured bumpers, a 2-spoke leather multi-function steering wheel, manual lumbar support for the front seats, a front centre armrest, radio with 8-inch touchscreen display, 8 audio speakers, wireless smartphone link for Apple and Android. So sat-nav isn't standard on this vehicle, but that last bit was key. So you got the smartphone link. So basically, as I mentioned before in the videos, you hook your phone up, your smartphone up to the vehicle, and then you can display your apps on the infotainment system. So Google Maps, Apple Maps, all on this. You've got a full sat-nav then. You've also got WhatsApp that you can display on the multimedia, Spotify and other music streaming apps, and there's a whole ton of different apps that you can display on there. So the actual media display just looks like your smartphone essentially. So really, really good. And this is the way I think more and more manufacturers will go, not baking in their own navigation system and just letting you use what's on your phone. And in all honesty, Google Maps is miles better than the manufacturer's own navigation systems. My vehicle has got the manufacturer's sat nav. I only ever use Google Maps on my car because it is just far better at avoiding traffic jams and finding little shortcuts and things like that. So don't worry about that at all. So going back to the spec, you've got the alarm, cruise control, rear parking sensors, light sensors, and remote central locking. So decent spec on this vehicle. This is the best bit though, the price. So 187.72 including VAT, with an initial payment of £1,126.32 Inc VAT. Now, as I said at the start, all the prices we talk about are going to be based on 3 years, 6 payments up front and 10k per annum. But you're going to want to change this one to 2 years, because the price then is going to drop to £175.54 including VAT, with an initial payment of £1,053.24 in VAT. So cheaper to take it on 2 years than it is 3 or 4. So that's where the value for money is at the minute. Some people do still prefer to take it on a 3-year contract because they're not having to pay the initial rental so soon and go through the rigmarole of changing the vehicle, things like that. So you can do that, and people will do that, but a lot of people do like the idea of changing after 2 years as well, especially when the payment is lower. And also, you know, this vehicle, if you aren't doing many miles, you might want to consider dropping it to the 5k if it is within your sort of mileage parameters, and that's going to reduce your payment to £165 in that per month. Super cheap vehicle. So all the links to the offers we spoke about today are all in the description, so click down to there and have a look, play around with the terms, the mileages and so on and so forth. As I said at the start of the video, the prices are correct as of today. They could change tomorrow, and certainly if you're watching this vehicle in 10 years time, they're probably different, so bear that in mind. So that's the end of the video. Thank you, well done, firstly, for getting to this point. If you're not already subscribed, click on the subscribe link button and then click the notification bell so you never miss any of our videos ever again, because that'll be a travesty. Thanks for watching, see you again next time.